Hi, and welcome back to Unit 6 Test Stress. So in the previous section, we talked about the Sunung, or CSAT, and how important it is to Korean students. And last year, in 2021, there was a bit of a controversial incident because one of the questions, it was a life sciences or biosciences question about birds' wingspans or colors or something. And the calculations in that question didn't add up. So there was like an answer that was mathematically correct, but it didn't really make sense biologically, which is important.
Add up.
Add up. And so some of the students, after the test was finished, they protested and they went to the organization that runs the test and said, this question didn't have a good right answer. So we want you to mark everyone's question right or, just discount the question altogether. And they refused to do so. So the students actually sued and there was a lawsuit. And finally, the judge in the court case said, no, you have to throw this question out. And the president of the organization that runs it actually resigned. He submitted his resignation because of this issue. So in many countries, like the US, for example, it wouldn't be it would be no big deal. One question kind of had a iffy answer, but it's just one question in a big test, and it doesn't really matter that much.
Resignation.
Resignation.
No big deal.
No big deal. But because the Korean exam is such a high-stakes exam, people were really mad about this issue. And again, it led to the resignation of the president. So it was a really big deal just having one question that had kind of no good right answer. So what do you think about, I mentioned that recent graduates also take this exam. So it's senior students and recent graduates who take it. So there are a lot of students, about 20%, who delay their university entrance to retake the exam to try to get a higher score. What do you think about that? Would it happen in the US or?
Well, U.S. situation is a little bit different now. There's still a lot of importance on this American SAT versus like the CSAT here in Korea or Sunung. And but here, I think they only get 1 year to take it. It's their senior year, and so if they don't get the score they want, they do take that year off before going to university and studying hard and trying to get a better score, so that way they can get better opportunities, because it really is like make or break for them. Now in the U.S., we get to start taking the SAT junior year.
I think.
And you get a PSAT your sophomore year, so you kind of get a dry run, you get a little bit of experience. And I remember I took my SAT junior year, I was satisfied with the score, so I actually never took it my senior year, which might have been better. But
maybe could have gotten a higher score.
Yeah, or maybe I didn't care and so I didn't study. So I might have gotten worse, I don't know.
Also possible.
So I think that in America, I've never heard someone taking off to study because we have 2 years essentially already.
Right.
Yeah, but how about for you? What do you think?
So I think the Korean case is really unique. So it's kind of the same situation in Japan as well, that many students will take off 1 year or 2 years or 3 years to get a better score in this test. But the really unique thing about Korea is the army system. So I'm always surprised when I'm talking to Korean men about how late they started work. And in many cases it's because they took a couple years off to get into a better university, and then they had to go to the army for 2 years. And so they're like 30 years old by the time they get their first real job or something like that. And so it would be nice if they could kind of get a jump on that and maybe have more opportunities to take the exam, like starting in their junior year or more times a year, because waiting till you're 30 to really start your life is a long time.
It is.
It's a long time. So I think it is kind of an unfortunate situation. It's nice in America. I took the test, I think, 3 times.
Okay.
Once or twice in my junior year and once in my senior year, I think. And it didn't really improve my score that much. Because it's really hard. So I think that's the other thing. if somebody can really study and improve their score in that 1 year off, then that's great. But I'm not sure, I'd like to see data about how much students' scores really do improve. And there's nothing, maybe there is. There's Hagwons and places like that probably do have data about that. But yeah,
and I hear that every year it gets progressively harder, so that way the material is different than what everybody has been memorizing, essentially.
Right.
It's a different way of studying, and so they want to try to make it harder and different. And like this bioscience kind of, or life science, like you said, this question makes no sense, and it's just strange. And I've looked at some of the English ones or other, and it's like, we would never, ever speak this way.
And we don't write this way because it's so hard to understand.
And I've been told that, there's 2 possible answers, but which one makes the most sense? And I don't like that test.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for hardness' sake.
Exactly.
So what can you do? And I guess that's all.
Yeah.
So good luck to anybody who's trying to get a better score next year, and we will see you in the next video.